Welcome back to the channel. I'm sure you can see this tiller behind me, which means you probably know it is time to plant garlic today. I just dug out all the celery and I dug out the rest of the sunflower stalks that I left in the ground from last time. I dug those out. It is no wonder I wasn't able to pull them out because the stalks on them are massive and the root ball was somewhere around this big. When I pulled the celery out, I was even having a hard time with that. I don't know that I've ever ripped celery out of the ground like that. Technically, this is my first year growing and harvesting celery. Last year I grew it and it looked beautiful, but I forgot it in the garden on the day that we moved. So I actually never had to pull it out of the dirt before. This was the first time I pulled celery out of the ground and I did not realize how thick the roots are on it. It was actually quite hard to pull out of the ground. So I've got the celery out, I've got the sunflowers out, and I picked up this tiller from Home Depot this morning. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna till up all the gardens, get them ready for the winter, and then I'm gonna turn my main garden into the garlic patch. So the garlic patch I had over here last year, it's completely grown over with grass and weeds and everything else. So I need to throw a tarp down over that and let that kill the grass so that it's ready for next spring. So as you can see, my beans are still here, and I received a comment on the last video about using the vegetables and stuff that I had in the garden that I forgot to pick that had kind of gone mushy and didn't get used. And they had said to harvest the seeds from those and do seed saving and plant them next year, which I don't know where my head was on that, because that's exactly what I should be doing with them. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I have no idea. But that's what I'm gonna do with all these beans. So there's tons of beans on here still, and they're not quite dry yet. Some of them are a bit rubbery. Some of them are dry. These ones are, but these ones are still quite soft. So I'm gonna let them dry out completely, and then I'm going to harvest the seeds out of them and plant them next year. And I don't know why I did not think of that, but that is what I'm gonna do, so thank you for your comment. It's quite windy today, so sorry about that. It's always so windy down here for some reason, and I never really realized, you know, how windy it actually was until I got down here. It's just windy all the time for some reason. I've tried multiple microphones and for some reason I've just not had good luck, so it does not actually even take away some of the windy noise on here. So if you do know of a good microphone, please let me know in the comments, because this wind noise is actually terrible even when I'm editing. It's very loud, so I can imagine how loud it is for you guys to listen to on your TVs. On that note though, I am gonna start tilling up this garden right here. This is the one that the garlic is going in, so I want to make sure I get this one done today. I do want to till up the one from the sunflowers, the potatoes, and the corn and get it all loose. The chickens continue to help themselves in here. They are kicking up some of the dirt and pooping all over stuff and picking up some of the stuff that's on the ground, which is fine, but I'm a little bit concerned because they keep coming in here, and once I get the garlic in the ground and get it covered with straw, I imagine they'll be in here picking through that, which is going to be a real problem. So I'm just really hoping that doesn't happen. Okay, so one pass of the whole garden is done, and I forgot how difficult it is. Every time I do this, I'm reminded that I don't enjoy it. I do not enjoy tilling the garden, and I don't enjoy sod cutting. But I don't want to complain because I am lucky to even have the space to make a garden. It's just difficult by myself. So one pass is done on the garden. I'm gonna go and do a second pass on it, and there's tons of weeds and like leftover stuff in the garden. So I will get the steel rake and rake this out once I'm done, but I wanna do one more pass. The dirt is pretty loose, which is great. And then I'll go back and do the other gardens. Thankfully they're much smaller than this one, so they won't take as long to do two passes on them. But now I'm gonna do the second pass on this one, and then, well, it'll be one garden ahead. I only have 3 left. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that thing, but it keeps shutting off while I'm using it, and then it will not start. There's a little knob on the top that you switch from on to off, and it's not grabbing at the on spot. It's going past the on and it's going past the off. So it's, I don't know how else to describe it. The switch is loose, obviously, because it's going all the way around. So it's not working, which is kind of a bummer because I really wanted to get this done. The main garden is done for the most part. I'm gonna rake it out now and pull out all the stuff that's stuck in there. And it should be okay to plant the garlic. The other 3 gardens back there, I didn't get to do them because it won't turn back on. So I'm gonna try and rake them out and see if that works. But because it's so windy, I'm having a difficult time filming this. It's getting very loud when I'm playing the clips back. So I might put this on pause and wait until tomorrow or the next day. No, probably the next day. And then finish this because I don't like filming when it's this noisy on the clips. But I think I'm gonna take a break from this. I'm gonna rake this out and then I'm gonna stop and wait for a day that's not so windy and a day that the equipment that I rented works. I just finished raking out all the gardens, and when I was raking out the potato patch, I found multiple potatoes. So I found 12 potatoes in here, which is actually pretty cool. So I'm gonna shut this down for today and I'm gonna head up to the cabin tomorrow. So I will see you on that video. Welcome back. I'm gonna say it's been at least 2 weeks since I started filming the beginning of this video. Every time I came out here to film, it was so windy or it was raining. And when I say windy, I mean like I have a pop-up garage, one of those carport things, and the whole top of it is blown apart. So that's how windy it's been. So filming in that is just not ideal. As you can see today, it is a beautiful day and it's almost like the universe was waiting for me to be able to film today because the weather is perfect, the sun is shining, there is no wind at all, and it's a perfect day to plant the garlic. If you're new to the channel or if you don't have me on Instagram, then this is probably a good time to let everyone know that I went hunting this week. It was opening week for rifle and I was gone for a few days. And when I came back, I came out to check on the animals. And when I got out here, I realized that one of my goats was missing. So Carmen, the one with the horns, is missing. There was no hole in the fence. There's no gate on this, so they can't even open a gate and get out. There's barbed wire between the rows on the bottom of the fence. They cannot fit through the fence. There was no sign of any hair, blood, like nothing that would indicate some sort of predator attack. And she's the only thing that's missing. So someone's come and stolen my goat, and likely someone that knew I wasn't home. Carmen was pregnant too, so she usually, for the most part, usually has twins. So whoever took her is now about to have 3 goats instead of 1. These 2 have been standing at the fence for 3 days, standing here with their faces over the fence, looking around. I feel like they probably are wondering where she is, because the small one here, if you can see the tricolored one, that's Penny. Carmen was Penny's mom. I got them together when Penny was, oh my gosh, I don't know, maybe, I don't even think she was 6 weeks yet. I got them together as a pair. I've had them for 5 years. I put some posts out online and on Instagram, so I'm hoping that if anyone sees her, they're able to return her back to me, or at least let me know where she is. But in the meantime, we'll just keep looking around and keeping our eyes open to see if somebody finds her and would like to return her back to where she belongs. I finally made it down here to start planting the garlic, and as you can see, the sun's going down. I don't know what happens, honestly. I get sidetracked and my whole day gets away from me, but I did get a lot of other things done. Not the garlic though. So right now I'm going to separate everything. It's only 3 o'clock, so we still have light for probably another hour and a half. So I should be able to get some of it planted. I'm really hoping that all of it gets planted. So I'm going to start working on that now, separating the garlic, and then I'm going to plant it. If you can see in the side of the screen there, I'm not sure if it's in it or not, but there's some dried beans still hanging on the side of the fence. So I just checked one of them and they're completely dry inside now. So I'm going to pull those off either, I don't know, maybe tonight or tomorrow, or maybe I'll get the kids to pull them off. Actually, I'll get the kids to pull them off. They'll probably enjoy that. So I'm going to save the beans that are inside. They're super dry. Holy. So I'm going to save the beans that are inside and, oh my God, and plant them next season. So they're perfect. They're ready to be pulled off and put away for the winter and used for next spring. I'm looking forward to that, actually. I've never really seed saved before. I've done it for a couple things. Like I saved some cantaloupe seeds once, and I think some cucumber or zucchini seeds, but I never really got into seed saving for some reason, and I don't know why. I think I'm going to start, mostly because all these are right here and I don't want to waste them, but maybe that'll be something I can get into next year. I don't know a whole lot about it, so if you do know anything about seed saving, please let me know in the comments, because that's new to me. I don't really know a whole lot about it. But what I do know is I need to plant this garlic. So I gotta start separating that. While I'm sitting here separating this garlic, there's a few things I want to touch on that I keep forgetting to touch on. Okay. And they are, first of all, so over the last few weeks, I've come home. I post this on Instagram a couple times, but I've come home more than once over the last few weeks, and there has been firewood dropped off here, and it's already split. And I did not order any firewood, so I don't know who is dropping off firewood. But it's happened more than once. I think 2 times, possibly 3 times, but 2 times for sure. And it's usually when I'm not home. So I have no idea who's doing it. I think I don't know. I only have one neighbor here. So, I mean, it could be them. Otherwise, I have no clue who would be dropping split firewood off here. Unless, yeah, I don't know. There's like a firewood fairy going around. But that's okay, because I really appreciate that, whoever's dropping it off. Because if you've been watching these videos, you know that I actually don't have enough firewood for the season. So somebody's watching, somebody's listening. I switched over my garlic garden this year. It was on this side, but now I'm putting it on this side. I'm putting it in the main garden. I think I already said that at the beginning of this video, but it's been so long since I started filming this, I forget what I've said and what I haven't. So I'm moving the garden. Holy man, look at the size of this one. So I'm moving the garden for a variety of reasons, and I don't remember, like I said, if I already mentioned why or why not. I'm gonna rotate the soil. So this side was my main garden last year, or this season. And I want to put the garlic in that side and then move my garden over, my other garden over to this side. And I'm doing that for a couple reasons. One, the spot where the garlic was last year, I let that get away from me and it's just weeds and grass now. So there's that. This soil over here where I had my main garden, it's really soft still, so it's gonna be easy to plant in. And then also I like to rotationally move the garden around just so it's not the same stuff being planted in the same spot all the time. So I'm gonna move the garlic over here, and then also too, I might put raised beds over here. I had raised beds at my other house and I loved the raised beds for a variety of reasons. The weed control is excellent because they're off the ground, they're in a box, so the amount of weeds coming up is really almost next to none. I also like that I can sit on the edge of the garden bed while I'm gardening. I like that. It also keeps stuff out of the beds, you know, smaller things that are on the ground. It makes it less likely for bunnies and stuff to get in it. The chickens still will, but I'm going to change the fence next year. I also really just like the look of raised beds. I'd still keep this garden in the ground over here, but I think on this side I'm going to add some raised beds. Should also mention that while I'm pulling these apart, you want to make sure that when you're separating your garlic, you're not pulling all the paper off. Like, yes, I'm pulling the outside paper off just so I can separate the cloves, but you do not want to take the paper off each individual clove. And the reason you don't want to do that is because if we're putting raw cloves right in the ground, they're really susceptible to rotting. And if they rot, they're not going to grow. So you want to keep the paper on just as like a little barrier kind of thing and to protect the garlic. So make sure that when you are separating your cloves of garlic, you do not take the paper off. I'm on the last one. Whoops. I'm on the last one, finally. And that brings my total to approximately, I wasn't counting, but I've got a good guess. I think I have about 250 of the music. And then I think I have about 250 of the Russian red. Much bigger. I really like the Russian red. They were my favorite from last year and from the season before. So I'm excited to have more of these. And yeah, that's it. They're all peeled. They're all ready to go. And the sun is still out, so I'm going to start planting. I just want to mention too that when you're planting your garlic, this is probably an easier one to see. You want to plant it with the pointy part facing up. So flat part down. Okay. Flat part down, pointy side up, because the stalk of it's going to go right out the top of the point. One row done, only about 9 more to go. I fit 56 garlic in one row, and I have somewhere around 550, so 9 more rows. And the sun is going down, so I need to get going. Okay, I'm halfway done. I just finished planting all the Russian red. I did 5 rows of 56, so I have 280 Russian red, and I am not known for making straight lines. I'll tell you, I'm really not very good at the fine details of things. So I'm interested to see how these are going to grow in the spring. They're probably going to be growing like this, but I don't really care. As long as they're growing, it doesn't matter to me. So I've got half the garden left, which is perfect because I have half the garlic left to plant. So I'm just going to start the music now, and hopefully that's enough space, and that'll be a wrap on planting garlic. I'm done. I can't believe I'm done. Like I said, I've been trying to do this for like 2 weeks and I just have not been able to get it done. Timing, weather, hunting, just all kinds of stuff. It just has not worked out. So the fact that this is done now, I'm so happy. So I ended up with 9 rows of garlic. So I did 5 rows of 56 red Russian, so 280. And then I did 4 rows of 65, I think one row had 55 of the music. So whatever it is, I ended up with about 530 garlic in the ground. And that's amazing. I'm so excited. My rows, not straight. Very crooked, very zigzaggy, but I don't care because it's all in the ground, so I don't really care how it looks when it grows up next year. Just that it's growing is going to be good enough for me. I'm not going to put the straw on it right now. I'll probably do that tomorrow just because the sun's going down now and I just don't feel like doing that right now. So tomorrow I'll come back out here and I will cover this all up with straw for the winter, and I will take the rest of these beans off here. But other than that, I'm done. The garden this year has been absolutely amazing. It was my first time growing at this property and I am so happy with how everything turned out. Yeah, I made a whole bunch of mistakes. Yes, the summer got away from me. Yes, there were weeds everywhere. The chickens got in here. I need a new fence. All these things, tons of stuff that has to be changed for next season. But overall, I got so much food out of the garden this year. It was crazy. So much food. So I'm very thankful for that. And that pretty much wraps up this video. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram @_livingdifferent, and you can stay up to date on what I'm doing every day. I post on there every single day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also check out the website www.living-different.com, and you can have a look through all the stuff I have to offer on there: soap, lip balm, lotion, laundry soap, dish soap, preserves, jam, you name it, all kinds of stuff, salsa, tons of stuff on there. So make sure you give that a look. Otherwise, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.